Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel for a review on the latest 1/6 scale Batman Begins figure from Hot Toys. This is the packaging. It's quite a nice box. I do love that image. And here is the figure. And here beside it, and will remain pretty much beside it for the entire review, is what we should have got from Hot Toys. But this is what we have. Very shiny suit, awful cape, and the same head sculpt we've had from Hot Toys for the last three, including this one, 3 attempts by the company. The same head sculpt, nothing's changed. Still completely inaccurate. Cape clips are in the completely wrong position. Suit is way too shiny. The belt is not the right tone of bronze. And a pretty busy base, which seems like they couldn't quite decide what they wanted on the base, so they just put everything on there instead. It's quite ugly. And again, here is what we should have got, with a nice charcoal matte finish on the suit, contrasting against the jet black cape. And the cowl, you notice the proportions on the cowl, the length of the neck compared to Hot Toys. So, let's get into the review. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. Hot Toys snuck this release out underneath the Val Kilmer Batman Forever Sonar Suit 1/6 scale Batman figure. This came out the same day. There were blogger pictures for the Sonar suit, but no blogger pictures for this release. Some folks had said that is because this is a Hot Toys exclusive and they don't do blogger pictures for those. But that is not true, because they did blogger pictures for the Spider-Man Hot Toys exclusive figure that came out the day after or 2 days after this one. So it is very clear that Hot Toys did not want you to see too much of this release, because they knew that you would be disappointed and angry and probably cancel your orders. Pretty much all the new Hot Toys figures have a rolling eye system so that you can position the eyes however you like. This figure does not, but yet Padme, Anakin, and countless others will. This is just a very lazy cash grab. Not much thought at all has been put into it, other than the box. That is a nice box, although it doesn't say Batman Begins on the box. It says the Dark Knight Trilogy, which is odd, as this is clearly from Batman Begins, which is part of the Dark Knight Trilogy, but it's almost like they're trying to get more sales by putting the name The Dark Knight on it, because in general that's more of a popular movie than Batman Begins, even though Batman Begins is the best film of the trilogy. I was definitely curious to see how other people in the community would react to this release, especially those with influence. I saw a podcast on YouTube a couple of days after this figure was released, and they were all smiles, saying the Hot Toys must be spread too thin, but they're trying. I can tell you that Hot Toys did not try with this release. They may be spread too thin since Disney took over, but there's no reason why they couldn't have just set this aside a little bit longer and taken more time to make sure it was done right the 5th time. Yes, one of those 5 attempts was a quarter scale figure, but the other 4 have all been 1/6 scale, and the last 3 have all been the exact same figure, just with more increasingly inaccurate changes made. I understand that not everybody has been collecting this stuff as long as me, and maybe as long as you watching. I'm sure there's plenty of people who've been collecting Hot Toys longer than I have, even though I've been collecting them for about 15, 16 years, but there's always going to be someone out there with more experience. But from the experience I have, this is very clear, very evident that it's a very cheap cash grab and a big slap in the face to anyone who knows better. Now we'll get a look at everything that comes in the box in a moment, but one thing that definitely does not come in the packaging, one accessory that is definitely not included, is an accessory that was used in pretty much all those major moments in the movie, and that was the grapnel gun. Remember when Batman had to get away after the Scarecrow set him on fire, and he's in the alleyway, and he needs to get out of people's view and up onto the rooftops? He uses this to get away. And also, in the third act of the movie, when Batman is surrounded by people who are infected by the fear toxin, he uses this to quickly get away and attach himself to the monorail, where he has his final confrontation with Ra's al Ghul, and many other moments in the movie. This accessory is not included with the figure. This came with a previous release, and luckily I still have it. It's absolutely insane that they did not include this accessory with this Batman Begins figure. So these are some accessories from other figures, other releases that I think should have been included with this version. Some 1/6 scale bats would have been nice, just as a little bonus accessory. There's some pretty bat heavy moments in the movie when he's escaping Arkham Asylum. That's an amazing moment in the film. And also when Bruce confronts his fear in the cave. So some 1/6 scale bats would have been nice. These actually come with the TB League Vampirella figure, and as I just showed you, the grapnel gun from a previous release, not included with this one. So here's the back of the box. I was looking, I couldn't really see any credits for any of the people involved with making this. Not like when you get a caustic plastic figure and all the people involved, their names are on the box because they're proud of their work. Same thing with Trick or Treat Studios and their Michael Myers 1/6 scale figures. You'll see the sculptors, the people responsible for the clothing, the packaging, all their credits on the back of the box. Obviously, people involved with this release were too ashamed to have their name on there. I'm just messing, they probably don't usually do that, but it just, in contrast to other companies, the truth becomes clear. So we have the ski mask, which looks quite funny with the two eyes and the mouth. I've seen some folks saying it doesn't really fit over the head sculpt, so I'll try that for you. I'm not too worried about damaging this one by staining it, by putting that on there, because I've got the DX19 Dark Knight figure coming. Got that on eBay. Not bought directly from the company or Sideshow or any of those guys. Hopefully Hot Toys don't see a penny of it. But apparently this is the exact same sculpt that you get with the DX19, even though Christian Bale / Bruce Wayne looked pretty different from Batman Begins to the Dark Knight to the Dark Knight Rises. He had a bit more of a fuller face in Batman Begins and obviously looked a bit younger, and the hair was a bit different. So no thought there, just chuck in the DX19 head sculpt. You have the harness, the belt, some hands which are really shiny. They were not shiny in the film. It was a matte finish, just like the suit. And the same grotesque mouth plates that we've had for the last few releases, including that ridiculous one there, which we will see on the figure soon enough. We have a little bomb and some batarangs. But again, no grapnel gun and no bats. So what you want? Alright, so it does fit over the head, but as you can see, it looks absolutely horrible and something out of a horror movie. It looks scarier than Scarecrow did in the film. You can see the, let me just zoom in. You can see how the material's just kind of ripped there. The eye holes are tiny, but that's your ski masked up version of Bruce Wayne. Here is the Toy Fair exclusive Batman Begins Bruce Wayne head sculpt with the ski mask that came with it. It fits over there no problem. Took a couple of seconds to get that on. Could do with a little bit of futzing, but you can see the eyes are coming through nicely and the mouth area is still intact. Here is the new version, which looks absolutely ridiculous. And people will say, oh, he's just meant to hold it. But obviously, you should have the option to put this over the head sculpt. You can see on the new one how the mouth area is ripped and damaged now from trying to get that over the head sculpt. And the size of the eye holes in the ski mask is ridiculous. Again, this is the older version. and is much, much better. And there is the Toy Fair exclusive previous release Bruce Wayne head sculpt compared to the new one from the DX19. This one's good, but it is the same one apparently. I'll know soon enough once the DX19 turns up. But from what I've heard and seen, it is the exact same sculpt, just reused. Alright, now here is both of these head sculpts. We've got the Toy Fair exclusive here on the right, and the new version, if you want to call it that, here on the left. The only thing that's changed is the mouth plates on the newest version are a little bit more tan than the previous. Yes, I have stuck on the cape clips onto the cowl there. They're not exactly in the right spot. They came loose recently and I just stuck them back on. I don't use these anymore. I use custom head sculpts, one by Ben Choi and another one by Unreal Customs, or Unreal Toys as they're known as well. But nothing has changed. It's the exact same sculpt for the last 3 versions. I even had the older one, which I wish I had here right now, but I did a swap. And unfortunately I can't show you all 3, but take my word for it, nothing has changed, apart from a little bit of a skin tone difference. And the eyes seem to be cutting through a little bit more on the Toy Fair exclusive. I've moved them around and changed the light position, trying to get the eyes to cut through as much on this one, the new one. But for some reason they just cut through a little bit more on the Toy Fair exclusive older version. Could just be down to lighting. But nothing else has changed. No thought put into it, no care, no revision. Just slap a new box on it and chuck it out again for the 3rd time. Inaccurate. Now we'll take a look at the suits. This is the Toy Fair exclusive suit, the previous version. Nice charcoal matte finish. It does have a custom cape by Jackson on there. I left that on there to show you how the cape should flow. And so you can see the contrast between the charcoal matte finish of the suit against the jet black cape. A movie accurate look. I used to use Takara gauntlets on these figures, but they are a little bit too shiny. So I went back to the Hot Toys Toy Fair exclusive gauntlets. And they're a nice kind of shine compared to the matte finish of the suit. Also, the Toy Fair exclusive belt was a nice movie accurate dark bronze tone. The belt from Batman Begins was a darker bronze tone than the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Rises. But we come over here to this awful monstrosity. You can see the suit itself is actually shinier than the gauntlets, and the belt is too bright and rides up too high on the body. It looks absolutely awful, and that's a fact. I understand that some folks, this might be your first Hot Toys Batman Begins figure, and after a bit of futzing and convincing yourself, you might think it actually doesn't look that bad. But it does. And compared to this, it's night and day. Now I've removed the cape from the latest version and I've put the Unreal Customs custom head sculpt on the new body. Proportion wise it seems to work just fine. It's not secure on the body right now, it's literally just balancing on there, so I've had to lean him back a bit. But you can see the custom head sculpt from Unreal Customs or Unreal Toys does work proportion wise. That's a lot more accurate to the movie, and Hot Toys, you know damn well they've seen this on social media over the years. Now, just like I had to do with the Toy Fair exclusive body, I had to put some cotton padding in the back area, maybe in the chest as well, I can't remember, because as you can see you get this kind of space at the back, so you'll need to pad the body out a little bit, which shouldn't be a problem because there's plenty of space in there. When you press down on the chest on the new body, there's plenty of space between the body and the suit, which does not feel very nice. So you will need to pad that area out if you get one of these custom heads. Posability on the new body is not too bad. So far the elbows are holding in position, but it's a brand new figure. I'll be curious to see over time if that remains the case. Pretty good knee bend, so movement isn't too bad, but the suit distorts pretty terribly. You can see the midsection there's kind of falling in on itself, but I'm not too sure if it's exactly a ratchet system. I couldn't hear any clicking as I move the elbows, but semi-stiff as you're moving it, so not too bad when it comes to the elbow movement. This body over time has definitely, weakened, as most of the kind of rubber suit Batman figures tend to do, like the 89 DX Michael Keaton figure. After a couple of years of owning him, I couldn't get the arms to do anything other than just lie by his sides. So we'll see what happens in the future with the posability on this piece. Now, just taking a look at the base, it's just very busy. There's a lot going on. I don't think we needed both the black bat symbol and the silhouette as well. It's just quite busy. Seems like they couldn't quite decide what to put on there, so they just chucked it all on. But looking at this base that I often use for my Batman Begins figure, this is actually from I think it's DC Collectibles statue. So it's not for a 1/6 scale figure, but it works perfectly. It is like a polystone, it's very heavy, so I wouldn't expect that from Hot Toys, although other companies, well, don't mean to keep mentioning Caustic Plastic, but they really go all out when it comes to a display base for a figure. Just makes you realize the contrast, it's quite eye-opening. But I think for this release it would have been nice if they were just gonna chuck out the same thing again but worse, then maybe a nice diorama base, which they do. There's another Spider-Man figure coming out with a beautiful rooftop diorama base with the snow effect that you can have them kind of leaping across the rooftops. Either a rooftop, a nice rainy, grimy surface of a rooftop, or possibly the interior of a cave with a nice kind of cave-like base with rocks around the feet that maybe you could put some rods into and have the bats that I mentioned before maybe on like clear poles or anything. Just a bit of care and thought put into it. But this is also a combination of a rough surface and the very smooth surface of the bat symbol, and the Batman silhouette is that very smooth, shiny surface that will scratch regardless of how careful you are. A couple of years time this will be probably quite unsightly with scratches. It's not the worst base in the world, but definitely could have done a lot better. Now we'll take a look at the capes. The cape that comes with the latest version, that's about as much as I can get it to wrap around him and come around the front for that very cool, brooding, intimidating look that he had in Batman Begins. The cape they've given you has a wire running through the front of it. I'm not too sure how many wires are in here, but that's about as much as you can wrap it around the front. And it looks awkward and terrible compared to a custom cape. It's only fabric, Hot Toys have had plenty of time and they know exactly what's out there. They keep an eye on things. I mean, is it Arnie Kim? He follows me on Instagram and I see him liking some of my posts, especially stuff like this, Batman Begins. From time to time he'll like a picture, so I know he sees it. But I'm not saying he has anything to do with the cape process, but Hot Toys are well aware of this and they just won't put in the effort. It just looks so much better with a nice thin material, nice and jet black, flows at the front beautifully. And you have to bear in mind the Takara Batman Begins Gen X Gore figure that came out I think in 2006, 2007 possibly. I'm reviewing that again on the channel. I've got it coming. I've owned it twice, but I've got it again and it's going to make for an interesting review. But they got the cape perfect and that was all that time ago. And Hot Toys still to this day are giving you stuff like this. It's inexcusable. That looks terrible. It looks awkward and comical and kind of embarrassing compared to how it should look. I was thinking about this last night, and I think my favorite Batman moment in movies ever is in Batman Begins, after the scene on the docks and Batman straps Falcone to the light and makes that kind of makeshift, what would soon become the bat signal, and Gordon looks up, and then it cuts to an incredible shot of Batman standing perched on the side of a building watching over the city of Gotham. And that's another thing Hot Toys could have done, obviously, as well as giving you a cape that would allow you to achieve a look like that without it looking ridiculous like this, but maybe some kind of diorama base that would, have him standing on the top of a building to recreate that amazing moment, because that moment was powerful. Not just because of the sound, the score, the way it swells and just makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and gives you the chills because of how powerful and amazing it is, and how long all the Batman fans, they didn't know they needed to see something like that, but it's just incredible, especially at the first hour of the movie, seeing the corruption and how dangerous Gotham City was and how helpless people were, and then you see him perched on the building looking over the city after his first night of truly being Batman, and you know that things are going to change for the better and that he's here and he's going to make a difference. And I love that moment, and it just looks terrible when you try and recreate that with this figure. Whereas with this version, the cape falls exactly as it does in that scene and looks a lot more movie accurate. Now obviously we're working with a custom cape and a custom head sculpt, but there is no reason on earth why Hot Toys can't achieve something like this. You know it and I know it. They just didn't bother. But that is how something like that should look. Just do a better job on posing the cape, which you're able to do. It's just a bit of material. No reason why they can't do it, other than laziness or simply not caring. And I urge you, all of you, to start making tougher decisions, when it comes to purchasing stuff from this company. Because every time we buy something, and yes, I've already seen people in Sideshow Freak saying, well, you bought this figure, this one here, so you're giving Hot Toys money, even though you're telling people not to do the same. But I had to get this video out there. Hopefully it will open up enough eyes, or it can make some kind of difference, maybe influence some kind of change from this company. Maybe the 6th attempt by Hot Toys will finally be, a movie accurate version with love and care put into it. That's all I want. I've already got this. I don't need it. It's for you. I'm doing this for you. I want you to have this, and there's no reason why you can't without spending a fortune on custom parts. Hot Toys are capable of doing this, but so far they won't. Well, these cape clips that Hot Toys give you, they do fall out quite easily. I was just trying to readjust things and it just popped off, and be very careful, because the way that just popped off, and I'm lucky it just hit the desk and I was able to get it straight away, but if you could lose that so easily. And it's very strange how Hot Toys can't figure out something so simple. The cape clips on this figure and all the versions they've done are always in a very, very odd position, right up on his shoulder pretty much. It's absolutely insane. They're supposed to be here, right where this tip of the wing is. They should be in line with those, as you can see here on the custom head. Why don't Hot Toys just make the cape clips part of the sculpt of the cowl? Because that's how it is here on the custom head by Unreal Toys, and it's the same on the Ben Choi version of the custom head. The cape clips are in the exact position and they're part of the sculpt, so they don't move around. And Hot Toys are still giving you this. It's inexcusable. So it's time for my final thoughts and a score out of 10. And what an awful release. The only thing I want to give any credit is the nice choice when it comes to the box, the artwork. I couldn't go any higher than like a 2 or a 3 out of 10. It's awful. This is an awful release. I urge you not to buy this if you haven't done already. There will be other versions of Batman Begins made by official companies in the future. I don't know who's going to do it. It might be another Hot Toys one. It could be In Art. It could be maybe Blitzway. Who knows? But one day, some company will do this figure justice in 1/6 scale. Hot Toys did a pretty good job with their quarter scale version of Batman Begins. It had a completely different cowl. It was a lot more movie accurate, and a lot of people were saying they wish they had shrunk that down to 1/6 scale, and they didn't do that. This is an awful figure, and I'm telling you the truth, it's awful. It's an embarrassment to the company. They should be ashamed of themselves. Don't buy it if you can help it. I know I bought one. I had to bring you this video. I had to get this out there. I did what I had to do, and I'm not happy about the fact that I had to pay for this. I got it from an eBay seller, so hopefully Hot Toys don't see any of the money. But it's here. I was able to do this review and show you how it should look. There will be more videos in the future with, you know, modifications and swapping of parts and trying to get something out of this piece. But this is an awful release. It's like a 2 or a 3 out of 10 from me. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I'm very disappointed in the company for what they've put out here. That's it, folks. There will be more reviews coming up really soon. DX19 review, Takara Batman Begins review, Street Fighter Ryu by Iconic Studios in 1/6 scale, that's coming soon, and plenty of other stuff as well. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. It'll help more people find this video, spread the truth, share it with people, share it on social media, put it on Facebook, put it on the groups, put it on Instagram, send it to people in private messages. Do what you have to do. Send this video around and let people see it. Hopefully Hot Toys will pay some kind of attention and won't see it as just some kind of attack. That's not what this is, but it needs to be said. I've got a lot of love for this company. I've been collecting them for about 15-16 years. Some of the best pieces in my collection by Hot Toys. I love my quarter scale endoskeleton, my Robocop, my classic suit Spider-Man, my Jack Nicholson Joker, the Ben Affleck Batman figures, the Harley Quinn stuff from Suicide Squad, Superman Christopher Reeve, Ripley from Alien, the Predator figures, so many. I know they can do better, and I'm really, you know, it's because I once loved this company. That's why it hurts so much. That's how it is in life. The ones that love you can hurt you the most, and that's what's happened here. And like I said, I'm fine. I've got a perfect Batman Begins figure. I'm doing this for you. I'm not doing it for views. I'm not doing it hoping that I make a load of money off this video. That's not going to happen. I'm realistic. I know exactly how this works. I'm honestly doing this to put the word out so that people who haven't been in the game as long can know the truth. Say what you will. I'm sure people will have something to say, good or bad, but I've done what I've done, and hopefully I've done the right thing. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon. I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.